Resetting your mindset is the moment you decide that the story you've been telling yourself is no longer the story you're willing to live. It's the point where you stop letting the weight of yesterday dictate the power of your tomorrow. A reset is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's the recognition that growth requires release, that progress requires space, and that sometimes the greatest leap forward starts with letting go of everything holding you in place. As 2026 approaches, the world isn't slowing down, and life isn't waiting for you to be ready. You have to choose to reset now, to clear out the mental clutter, the doubts, the regrets, and the insecurities that have built up like dust on your potential. Resetting your mindset means choosing a new internal environment, one aligned with ambition, possibility, and strength. Most people underestimate the power of a mental reset. They think improvement only comes from grinding harder, pushing more, adding more to their plate. But the truth is that more effort on a broken foundation doesn't build elevation, it builds exhaustion. A powerful life begins with a powerful mind, and a powerful mind begins with clarity. When you reset, you're not erasing your past, you're releasing its control over you. You're acknowledging that the habits, patterns, and beliefs that served you before may not serve you in this next season of your life. What got you to this point will not get you to the next one. Resetting means you're willing to evolve, willing to unlearn, willing to say, I'm not starting over because I failed, I'm starting fresh because I'm growing. To reset your mindset, you must confront your inner dialogue. The voice that says you're not good enough, not ready, not talented, not worthy, those aren't facts, those are fears. And fears only have the power you give them. If you talk to yourself the way you talk to others, you'd realize how unfairly you treat your own potential. You spend so much time doubting yourself that you forget to empower yourself. In 2026, that cannot continue. This is the year where you challenge every limiting belief, where you question every excuse, where you stop shrinking to fit the expectations of others. Resetting means giving yourself permission to think bigger, act bolder, and live with more conviction. One of the most important parts of resetting your mindset is forgiving yourself. So many people carry guilt from decisions they made years ago, guilt for opportunities missed, relationships broken, time wasted, and dreams neglected. But guilt is not a strategy. Regret is not a roadmap. You cannot build a future while clinging to the past. Forgiving yourself isn't about pretending nothing happened. It's about accepting that you are human and refusing to let old versions of you sabotage new ones. When you release that emotional burden, your mind becomes lighter, your thoughts become clearer, and your confidence becomes stronger. Forgiveness is freedom, and freedom is the foundation of any reset. Another critical part of resetting is reorganizing your priorities. You can't step into 2026 with the same distractions, the same toxic people, the same energy-draining habits and expect a different outcome. Resetting means you reevaluate what matters most. Ask yourself, what deserves my time? What deserves my effort? What deserves my attention? And more importantly, what no longer does? When you reset your mindset, you begin filtering your life through purpose, not pressure. You start choosing what aligns with your growth, not what comforts your stagnation. Resetting also means reconnecting with your vision. At some point, life may have blurred your goals. You may have lost motivation, lost momentum, lost the fire you once had. But the vision didn't disappear. It simply got buried under stress and routine. A mindset reset is when you dig that vision back out, dust it off, and bring it to life again. You remind yourself why you started, why you fought, why you dreamed in the first place. Without vision, your steps feel heavy. With vision, your steps become purposeful. And purpose makes persistence possible. To reset effectively, you must replace negative patterns with empowering ones. This doesn't happen overnight. It's a daily decision, a daily discipline, a daily commitment. Every morning you choose the thoughts you welcome, the energy you carry, and the standard you set for yourself. That's how you build a new mindset, one intentional thought at a time. Your mindset should be a weapon, not a weakness. It should work for you, not against you. And the only way to sharpen it is to take accountability for what you allow inside it. When you reset your mindset, the world around you begins to change because your perception of it changes. You no longer see obstacles as walls, but as weights that make you stronger. You no longer see failure as the end, but as information. You no longer see success as luck, but as alignment between effort and intention. Resetting your mindset is the first step to redefining your life. It is the spark that ignites transformation, the foundation upon which every other achievement is built. Before you can restart your journey or refocus your purpose, you must hit the internal reset button and choose to think differently. This is the year to walk into 2026 with clarity, confidence, and courage. This is the year to let go of the heaviness of old seasons and step into the strength of new ones. Your mindset is the engine of your destiny, and a reset is the moment you decide to take back the wheel. Restarting your journey is not about erasing who you were. It's about rebuilding who you choose to become. There comes a moment in every life where you look at where you are and realize that staying the same is no longer an option. You feel the quiet tension between your current reality and your buried potential, and deep down, you know you were meant for more. A restart is that powerful declaration that you're done living below your capability, done accepting less than what you desire, done letting old patterns dictate your new seasons. Restarting does not mean you failed. It means you refuse to settle. It means you are brave enough to begin again, even after disappointments, losses, mistakes, and setbacks. That kind of courage is rare. That kind of courage changes lives. When you restart, you're not starting from zero. You're starting from experience. Every difficulty that tried to break you actually trained you. Every setback sharpened you. Every failure taught you something. And now you're stepping forward with more wisdom, more resilience, and more clarity than you ever had before. A restart is not a reset of time. It's a reset of intention. It's saying, this time I'm not moving blindly. This time I'm not doing this halfway. This time I'm not negotiating my worth. Restarting your journey is reclaiming every part of yourself you once abandoned. One of the most powerful parts of restarting is understanding that momentum doesn't come from motivation. It comes from movement. And movement begins with the smallest step. People often wait for the right time, the perfect moment, or the ideal conditions before they restart their life. But the perfect moment doesn't exist. The moment you choose to act becomes perfect. The universe responds to motion. Opportunities appear when you move, confidence builds when you move, strength grows when you move. Restarting your journey is about lighting that spark again, even if it's small, and allowing that spark to become a flame. The truth is, restarting requires humility. You must be willing to acknowledge that your previous path may not have been the right one, that you may have been chasing validation instead of purpose, comfort instead of growth, distractions instead of destiny. Humility is not weakness, it's power. It allows you to see clearly what worked, what didn't, what must change, and what must be protected. Restarting gives you the chance to realign your actions with your true goals instead of living on autopilot. You begin to choose intentionally, act deliberately, and think strategically. You're no longer moved by pressure, you're guided by purpose. Restarting also requires removing your attachment to the old version of you. The version who doubted themselves, the version who apologized for being ambitious, the version who played small for the comfort of others, the version who procrastinated, hesitated, or avoided difficult things. That version of you may have brought you here, but it cannot take you further. Every new chapter demands a new identity, one built on discipline, resilience, hunger, and confidence. Restarting your journey means letting go of who you were so you can become who you were always capable of being. One of the most challenging parts of restarting is facing the fear of judgment. People will question why you're starting over. They'll remind you of your past mistakes, your previous failures, the times you didn't follow through. But their memory is not your future. Restarting isn't about what they see. It's about what you believe. Let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them watch from the sidelines while you rebuild. Because once your momentum catches, once your progress becomes visible, once your consistency begins to pay off, the same people who questioned your decision will question themselves for ever doubting you. Restarting your journey also involves redefining your standards. You cannot restart with the same habits and expect different results. You cannot surround yourself with the same energy and expect elevation. You cannot cling to comfort and expect greatness. When you restart, you raise your standards for how you think, how you work, how you speak, and how you treat yourself. You stop accepting halfway effort, halfway commitment, halfway dreams. You set a higher bar, and you actually hold yourself to it. That shift alone can change the entire trajectory of your life. Most importantly, restarting your journey is about understanding that it's not too late. It's never too late. As long as you're breathing, you have time to rewrite your story. The calendar doesn't determine your destiny, your decisions do. 2026 is not just another year, it's a new chapter. A chapter where you're stepping in with fresh focus, renewed drive, and unwavering commitment. A chapter where you're not dragging the weight of old failures. A chapter where your excuses no longer outrun your effort. Restarting is choosing to rise, choosing to grow, choosing to become the version of yourself you've always wanted to meet. Every dream you have, every goal you imagine, every vision that keeps you awake at night. Those are not random. They're reminders of who you're meant to be. Restarting journey is honoring those reminders. It means choosing action over avoidance, discipline over distraction, progress over perfection. In this new season, you're not just restarting, you're rebuilding momentum, reclaiming your power, and repositioning yourself for everything that belongs to you. This is your year to restart with intention, with strength, and with belief. The journey may not be easy, but it will be worth it, because this time you're not starting over to repeat the past, you're starting over to rewrite your future. Refocusing your purpose begins with recognizing that somewhere along the journey, distractions, obligations, fear, and noise may have pulled you away from the path that once set your soul on fire. It happened silently, not in a single moment, but gradually, one compromise at a time, one delay at a time, one I'll do it tomorrow at a time. Before you know it, you're busy but unfulfilled, active but unaligned, moving but not progressing. Refocusing your purpose is the moment you stop and ask yourself the questions you've been avoiding. What am I really doing? Why am I doing it? Does this still align with who I want to become? You can't walk into 2026 with noise in your mind and expect clarity in your life. Purpose requires focus, and focus requires courage. To refocus your purpose, you must first eliminate the distractions that have been stealing your attention. Distractions don't always look like chaos. They can look like comfort, routine, or habits that feel harmless but slow your growth. Social media, unproductive conversations, unnecessary commitments, conversations that drain instead of build, relationships that distract instead of elevate. Every distraction has a cost, and the price is always your potential. You can't climb if your mind is constantly pulled downward. Refocusing means tightening your circle, protecting your time, guarding your energy, and choosing your priorities with intention. You start asking yourself, does this move me closer to my purpose or further away? If it doesn't align, it doesn't belong. Refocusing your purpose also means revisiting your why. Your why is the fire behind your actions, the fuel behind your discipline, the anchor that keeps you grounded when the world tries to shake you. When your why is strong, every challenge becomes manageable. When your why is weak, every obstacle becomes overwhelming. Your purpose is not something you discover once and forget. It's something you reconnect with as you evolve. Life changes you. Experiences shape you. Pain strengthens you. Success humbles you. Loss refines you. What mattered to you 2 years ago may not be what matters to you now. Refocusing means updating your purpose to match who you've become, not who you used to be. Another part of refocusing your purpose is acknowledging where you've been living on autopilot. Many people aren't living life, they're simply reacting to it. They wake up, go through the motions, follow the same patterns, work the same job, think the same thoughts, all without questioning if these things still serve them. But autopilot is the enemy of growth. Refocusing requires becoming conscious again. Conscious of your actions, conscious of your desires, conscious of your direction. You stop living by default and start living by design. You begin choosing your steps instead of drifting into them. Once you become intentional, clarity becomes a natural result. Refocusing your purpose also requires letting go of expectations that are not your own. Too many people live according to what others want from them: family, society, friends, peers, or the imaginary pressure of comparison. You cannot live a purposeful life if you're living someone else's version of success. Purpose is personal. It's internal. It's sacred. It's the quiet calling inside you that no one else can hear but you. To refocus, you must silence the external voices and tune into the internal one. What makes you feel alive? What challenges excite you? What dreams scare you because they matter so much? That's where your purpose lives. Another important part of refocusing is redefining what success means to you. Success is not just money, achievements, or recognition. Success is alignment. Success is waking up with direction. Success is knowing your actions match your values. Success is feeling proud of who you're becoming. When you refocus your purpose, you stop chasing validation and start chasing alignment. You stop focusing on what looks good and start focusing on what feels right. And when your purpose is aligned, your effort becomes unstoppable. Refocusing also demands honesty, brutal honesty. You must confront the areas where you've been inconsistent, the goals you've been avoiding, the habits you've been ignoring, and the excuses you've been repeating. You can't claim purpose but live in procrastination. You can't claim clarity but surround yourself with distraction. You can't claim ambition but continue doing the bare minimum. Refocusing means telling yourself the truth even when the truth is uncomfortable. It's only through honesty that you can correct your course. Finally, refocusing your purpose means committing to what matters most. Purpose is not fulfilled in one moment. It's fulfilled through consistent choices. Every day, you choose discipline over comfort, growth over stagnation, action over hesitation. You choose to stay loyal to your vision even on days when motivation is low. You choose to pursue what's meaningful, not just what's easy. And with every aligned action, your purpose becomes clearer, stronger, and more powerful. As you step into 2026, refocusing your purpose will redefine your entire life. It will change the way you think, the way you work, the way you move, and the way you show up in the world. Purpose gives you direction, power, and identity. When you refocus it, you don't just improve your life, you transform it. This is the year you eliminate the noise, reconnect with your why, and walk forward with clarity so strong that nothing can shake you. Rewriting your identity is one of the most powerful decisions you can make, because your identity shapes everything: your actions, your beliefs, your habits, your confidence, and ultimately, your destiny. The truth is this: you don't rise to the level of your dreams, you rise to the level of the identity you believe you deserve. If you see yourself as average, you'll behave average. If you see yourself as limited, you'll act limited. If you see yourself as someone who always falls short, you will continue to fall short. Identity is the internal script that your life follows, and if the script is outdated, your future will be too. Rewriting your identity means choosing to become the person that 2026 requires, not the person your past created. Every identity is shaped by experiences, moments of triumph, moments of pain, moments of shame, moments of pride. Some of these moments strengthen you, but many of them quietly restrict you. A bad experience can become a self-doubt. A failure can become a belief that you're incapable. A mistake can become a label that sticks to your mind for years. Rewriting your identity means recognizing that these labels were never destiny. They were moments, and moments don't define a lifetime. You don't have to keep living through the lens of who you were when you were confused, afraid, unprepared, or broken. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to outgrow your old self. You are allowed to become someone stronger. One of the first steps to rewriting your identity is challenging the story you tell yourself. Every day, you unconsciously repeat narratives about who you are. I'm not disciplined enough. I always mess up. I'm not confident. I'm not talented enough. Things never work out for me. These phrases seem harmless, but they build a cage around your potential. The story you tell yourself becomes the life you live. To rewrite your identity, you must rewrite the script. Replace the lies with truths. Replace the fears with facts. Replace the limitations with possibilities. You begin saying things like, I am capable. I am consistent. I am focused. I am willing to change. I am deserving of success. At first, these words feel uncomfortable, but eventually they become your new reality. Rewriting your identity also means deciding who you no longer want to be. Many people avoid this step because it forces them to confront uncomfortable truths. Maybe you've been procrastinating for too long. Maybe you've been living in fear. Maybe you've been too passive, too comfortable, too inconsistent. Maybe you've been living below your standards. Growth requires confrontation. You cannot rewrite your identity without first acknowledging the identity that has been limiting you. But this realization is powerful, not shameful. It means you're aware. It means you're ready to rise. It means you're ready to become the version of yourself you've always imagined. Another crucial part of rewriting your identity is building habits that match the person you want to become. Identity is reinforced by behavior. If you want to become someone disciplined, you start practicing discipline every day, even in small ways. If you want to be confident, you start doing the things confident people do: speaking up, taking action, stepping outside your comfort zone. If you want to be successful, you adopt the habits of successful people: consistency, focus, resilience, hard work. Your habits are the daily votes you cast for the identity you want. Every small disciplined action reinforces your new self. Every choice becomes a brick in the foundation of your future. Rewriting your identity also means controlling the environment that shapes you. Your environment, your friends, your routines, your conversations, your influences, plays a huge role in the person you become. You can't build a powerful identity in a weak environment. You can't build confidence around people who constantly doubt you. You can't build discipline around people who live casually. You can't build dreams around people who think small. When you rewrite your identity, you must also reshape your environment you surround yourself with. Ambition, with growth, with positivity, with people who demand more from themselves and therefore inspire more from you. Your environment becomes a mirror of the identity you're choosing. A big part of identity transformation is accepting that growth will be uncomfortable. When you step into a new identity, your mind tries to pull you back to familiar patterns. Your old self whispers, "Who do you think you are?" That resistance is normal. It's the sign that you're evolving. You must push through. You must remind yourself, I am becoming someone new. Growth is not supposed to feel comfortable, it's supposed to feel different. And different is where transformation happens. Most importantly, rewriting your identity is about claiming responsibility for your future. You stop blaming circumstances, stop blaming the past, stop blaming situations you can't control. You take ownership of who you are becoming. Responsibility gives you power because when you realize you are the author of your identity, you understand that you are also the author of your destiny. As you step into 2026, understand that nothing will change until you change how you see yourself. Success is not something you chase, it's something you attract by becoming the person who is capable of handling it. When you rewrite your identity, you unlock a level of strength, clarity, confidence, and purpose that you didn't know existed within you. This is your moment to shed the old version of yourself and step boldly into the identity that aligns with your dreams. This time, you're not becoming who you've been, you're becoming who you were meant to be. You're becoming who you are. Discipline is the moment you recognize that dreams don't come to life through motivation alone. They come to life through the structure, consistency, and self-control that discipline creates. Discipline is the invisible foundation behind every success story you admire. It's not glamorous, it's not loud, it's not celebrated. Discipline is the quiet force that turns early mornings into progress, sacrifices into strength, routines into results, and intentions into realities. Without discipline, your goals remain wishes. With discipline, your goals become inevitable. As you prepare for 2026, rebuilding your discipline means constructing the habits and mindsets required to elevate every area of your life. Discipline is not something you either have or don't have. It's something you build. It's a muscle, and like any muscle, it grows through repetition, resistance, and commitment. Many people lose discipline not because they're weak, but because they haven't practiced it. They expect massive willpower overnight, forgetting that discipline grows one small action at a time. Rebuilding your discipline starts with redefining your relationship with discomfort. Discipline demands that you do the things you don't want to do so you can live the life you want to live. You wake up early when you feel like staying in bed. You train when your body feels tired. You study when your mind feels distracted. You commit even when your emotions disagree. That's discipline, choosing your future over your feelings. One of the most powerful ways to rebuild your discipline is by creating structure. Without structure, your days drift. You move without direction. You hope for results but don't design a system to achieve them. Structure eliminates guesswork. It allows you to operate with clarity. You know what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, and why it matters. A disciplined life is a structured life, not rigid, but intentional. You plan your priorities. You schedule your habits. You remove unnecessary decisions so your focus stays sharp. Structure frees your mind from chaos and gives your ambition a roadmap. Rebuilding your discipline also means embracing small, consistent actions. People often destroy their progress by believing they need massive changes instantly. They set unrealistic goals, burn out quickly, and then blame themselves for failing. But discipline is built through consistency, not intensity. Small steps taken daily are more powerful than massive steps taken occasionally. 10 minutes of reading is better than 0. A short workout is better than none. 1 page written is better than an empty document. You build discipline by showing up again and again, even when the results aren't visible yet. Consistency compounds. What starts small becomes unstoppable. Another essential part of rebuilding discipline is removing temptations and distractions. You cannot build a focused life in a chaotic environment. If your phone pulls your attention every few minutes, put it away. If certain people drain your energy or derail your goals, create distance. If your workspace is cluttered, clean it. If your habits are unproductive, break them intentionally. Discipline isn't just about adding good behaviors. It's about removing the bad ones that sabotage your progress. Environment shapes behavior. Make your environment one that supports your highest goals, not your weakest impulses. Rebuilding discipline. It also requires redefining your standards. Discipline means refusing to accept anything less than your best effort. It means holding yourself accountable even when no one is watching. It means setting non-negotiables, behaviors you commit to regardless of how you feel. When you raise your standards, your discipline rises with them. You no longer tolerate excuses. You no longer allow yourself to operate at half capacity. You decide that your goals are worth your full dedication. This shift in standards can transform your entire direction. Another powerful factor in rebuilding discipline is learning to delay gratification. Success is not immediate. Growth is not instant. Rewards take time. Most people fail because they want the result without the process. They want the outcome without the sacrifice. Discipline teaches you to honor the process, to respect the grind, to trust the journey, to invest effort long before you receive the reward. When you master delayed gratification, you become unstoppable because you're no longer controlled by temporary desires. You understand that short-term discomfort builds long-term success. Rebuilding your discipline also requires self-respect. When you break promises to yourself, you weaken your identity. But every time you follow through, you strengthen your self-belief. Discipline is an act of self-respect. It's saying, I deserve better, so I'm choosing better. It's showing yourself that your word means something. It's proving to yourself that you can trust your own commitment. The strongest version of you is built in the moments when you choose consistency over comfort. Most importantly, rebuilding discipline means accepting that progress is not about perfection. It's about persistence. You will slip. You will make mistakes. You will have days when discipline feels impossible. That doesn't mean you failed. It means you're human. The key is not to quit. The key is to get back on track immediately. Discipline is not about never falling. It's about rising faster every time you do. As you head into 2026, understand this. Discipline is the bridge between your dreams and your reality. It's the trait that transforms potential into achievement, ambition into progress, and desire into destiny. Rebuilding your discipline means reconstructing the foundation of your future. Once your discipline is strong, nothing can stop your growth. Not excuses, not doubt, not fear. This year, you're not relying on motivation. You're building the discipline that will carry you through every goal, every challenge, and every victory ahead. Rising into 2026 is about transforming intention into relentless action. It is the moment you stop dreaming about the life you want and start building it brick by brick. Too many people live their lives waiting for motivation, waiting for opportunities, waiting for the perfect moment. But greatness doesn't arrive through waiting. It arrives through movement. Rising into the new year means stepping forward with purpose, with hunger, and with a mindset that refuses to negotiate with excuses. It means deciding that 2026 will not be another year of almost, someday, or I'll try. It will be the year of I did, I built, and I became. To rise into 2026, you must first recognize that everything you want requires action. Not thoughts, not hopes, not wishes. Action. The world rewards the doers, the consistent, the persistent, the people who show up even when they're tired, the people who push even when they don't feel like it. When you take action, you create momentum. When you create momentum, you attract opportunities. When you attract opportunities, you build progress. Rising into 2026 is about becoming the type of person whose footsteps are louder than their intentions. But action alone isn't enough. You need aligned action. Too many people stay busy but never make progress. They run in circles. They mistake movement for advancement. Rising into 2026 means focusing your energy on what truly matters. It means giving your time to tasks that align with your purpose, not distractions that drain your potential. Every choice you make in this new year must pass one simple test. Does this bring me closer to the person I want to become? If the answer is no, it doesn't belong in your life. Rising means elevating your standards not just for what you do, but for what you allow. A huge part of rising into 2026 is strengthening your mindset. Challenges will come. Obstacles will appear. Plans will fail. That's life. But rising means you refuse to be defeated by temporary setbacks. You become mentally sharp, emotionally stable, and psychologically unshakable. You build resilience. You develop grit. You decide that no matter what happens, you will keep going. Most people fall not because they're weak, but because their mindset collapses before their body does. Rising into 2026 requires a mind that is stronger than any storm. Another key to rising is embracing responsibility. Blaming circumstances, blaming people, blaming timing, none of that builds success. Responsibility does. Accountability does. When you take full responsibility for your life, you take full control of it. You stop waiting for permission and start creating opportunities. You stop waiting for luck and start relying on discipline. You stop hoping for change and start becoming the change. Every outcome in your life becomes your creation, not your excuse. That level of ownership is the fuel that will propel you through 2026. Rising also involves embracing discomfort. Growth lives in the places where comfort dies. If you want to become someone you've never been, you must be willing to do things you've never done. That means stepping into situations that scare you, challenge you, and stretch you. It means taking risks, facing fears, and trusting that the discomfort you feel is simply a sign that you're stepping into a bigger version of yourself. Discomfort is not your enemy. It is your indicator that you're evolving. Rising into the new year means seeking growth over comfort every single time. Another essential part of rising into 2026 is mastering your habits. You don't rise because of what you do occasionally, you rise because of what you do consistently. Your habits are the daily seeds that grow into your future. If your habits are weak, your results will be weak. If your habits are strong, your future will be strong. Rising means identifying the patterns that elevate you and eliminating the patterns that limit you. You adopt the habits that align with success, waking up earlier, training harder, thinking deeper, studying more, planning intentionally, and acting decisively. Your habits become the architecture of your achievement. Rising into 2026 also means protecting your energy. Energy is your currency. You cannot rise if you allow negativity, laziness, doubt, or drama to drain you. You must guard your peace, protect your focus, and surround yourself with people who elevate your ambition rather than weaken it. The stronger your environment, the stronger your rise. The weaker your environment, the harder your journey becomes. Rising is not just about pushing yourself upward, it's about removing everything that tries to pull you downward. Most importantly, rising into 2026 means believing deeply that you deserve the life you're building. Because without belief, action feels heavy. Without belief, discipline feels forced. Without belief, progress feels temporary. But when you believe in yourself, truly believe, your effort becomes unstoppable. You work differently. You think differently. You walk differently. You show up with confidence, power, and certainty. Belief is the internal fire that ignites external transformation. As you rise into 2026, remember this, your future is not written yet. You decide the pace, you decide the direction, you decide the level. This year can be the turning point of your entire life. If you choose to show up like someone who is done playing small, rise with conviction, rise with intention, rise with discipline, rise with fire. This is your year to step into the strongest, most focused, most unstoppable version of yourself. This is your year to rise and never look back.